supports it. He's also a native Atlantan and very active in the community. So would you please pray for us?
Thank you. Deference to these great hosts and these great candidates. It's always appropriate to start with prayer. Let us bow and pray. Dear God, our creator, our provider, and our sustainer, we invoke your presence with us here today. Our presence here this morning is evidence of our increase and our continued purpose in the earth. Wisdom says that when the wicked rule, the people mourn, but when the righteous rule, that the people rejoice. God, our responsibility to righteous leadership has led us to bear here this morning. I pray now, God, that those who receive these great offices for mayor of this great city, God, you would be with them today. Let divine intellect, God, let wisdom be with us here this morning. And God, even as they lay out their visions for 21st century governance, God, I pray that each one would have clarity of thought, clarity of speech, and God, we would have clarity of understanding. And even then, finally, as we continue to fight this scourge of this pandemic that has been with us, God, please help those who have been negatively affected by it, the first responders, healthcare workers, even those who have lost loved ones, God. We know that your spirit healed, and even today, let your spirit reveal. And all of those who believe in the words of prayer, say amen. Amen. And amen.
So again, thank you so much, Audrey Washington. Come on up. We've seen her from
He did well.
Huh?
He kept it
He
short.
did, yeah, he kept it short because he's a charismatic preacher. They tend to go on and on. So I'm a little nervous about it. So
No.
she's no offer, yeah, absolutely no offer. So again, thank you so very much. We want to get to it, hear from the candidates. Have a bit of a surprise for you. Someone who's been in Atlanta for a really, really long time. We just think it's just fitting that we do the national anthem. And so here to do the national anthem for us, and if you're watching on live stream, she's gospel recording artist. She's a Stellar Award winning. She's a Stellar Award winning international recording artist, saxophonist Angela Christie, to do the national anthem for us. Please come up. And we have a couple of people who helped bring this thing together, and Shelley Winter will bring them up at this time.
Before we do that, we have a special message. Are we ready? Get that message. We have a special message from our governor of the great state of Georgia, Brian Kemp.
Good morning. I'd like to thank WSB Radio and the Word on the Street team for hosting today's Mayoral Forum, and also thank the candidates here today for agreeing to participate. I know the 5 of you have put a lot of your time, effort, and resources into this race, and you should all be commended for your willingness to step forward and serve the people of our capital city. This year's mayoral election is incredibly important, not just for the future of Atlanta, but also for the future of Georgia. It is my firm belief as governor that Georgia succeeds when Atlanta succeeds, and vice versa. To move both forward, it takes a partnership between the mayor's office and the governor's office that can respectfully disagree on a wide range of issues, but come together at the end of the day to do what is right for the people of our state and capital city. Whether it's crime, economic development, COVID-19, or any other issue that may face us in the months and years to come, I look forward to working with Atlanta's next mayor to ensure Georgia's best and brightest days are still ahead. Thank you again for being here today. Good luck and God bless.
Thank you, Governor Brian Kemp.
We're come on now. We partnered up with the Student Government Association of Georgia Tech. We also partnered up with Committee for Better Atlanta. So I'd like the Student Government President of Georgia Tech to come up, Sam Ellis, for quick words, and then Nick Fernandez.
Welcome to Georgia Tech, y'all. For those of you disappointed by the turnout, know that this is Georgia Tech. That means everyone is tuned in at home. There's also a new game day today, so I assure you it'll be live on the SGA page for the days to come. But I want to welcome y'all. When I first got to Georgia Tech, my English professor made me work a day-long shift at the Doghead Farms. That's a part of Concrete Jungle, and everything they farm is donated to the Atlanta Community Bank. That same English class, my next assignment was to visit the Atlanta Immigration Court right after David. Most recently, I partnered with my research with the Grove Park Foundation, a community experiencing a harrowing upheavals in the face of rapid gentrification. We brought our engineering expertise and we partnered it with community organizing to aid our neighbors in their time of need. From the moment I first arrived on campus, I was taught to engage with the community around me. The Georgia Tech today and Georgia Tech tomorrow is one of community service. Our partnerships are local and they're international. We have relationships with 497 out of 500 Fortune 500 companies, but at the same time, our consulting community is a student-run organization that consults up-and-coming Atlanta businesses to help them get their feet off the ground. At the same time, we have contracts with the U.S. government and military that exceed $1 billion in research annually. We send students to the state capitol every year as legislative interns. You all know it. In my time, my 4 years at Georgia Tech, I have seen the mayor visit Tech twice. Once to speak at commencement, and once to watch the rapper T.I. speak at first year. Georgia Tech has changed as rapidly as the city that we call home. As we rise to the occasion, I'd like us to rise together. My ask to you is simple. No matter who wins, serve with us. We want to work together as responsible community partners to build an Atlanta that is sustainable, livable, and innovative for all of its residents. We're here for you. We want protected bike lanes and walkable neighborhoods. Our School of Civil Engineering is here for you to work with us. We want better access to healthcare services. Our School of Biomedical Engineering and Healthcare Systems, they'll work with you on that. We want to remind you that Tech is the site of America's first public housing unit, Techwood Homes. We want affordable housing that has access to development. And our School of City Planning and Public Policy, they'll work with you on that. Now, Georgia Tech and City of Atlanta, Georgia Tech, we're engineers by trade, but we're humanitarians because of where we are. Our liberal arts college is named for a former mayor of Atlanta, Ivan Allen Jr. We had a great partnership with him. We worked closely to integrate Atlanta. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated the 60th anniversary of Black students attending Georgia Tech. I'll note that all 3 of those first 3 Black students faced hate here, and they transferred to other schools. It wasn't until 1965 that the first Black student graduated from Georgia Tech. And that same year in the city of Atlanta, to our immediate right outside of here where a new Unity Plaza has been built, was the site of a Pick Rick restaurant. At that same time, Atlanta was struggling. Lester Maddox held 3 black seminary students at gunpoint and refused to let them eat at his restaurant. And when the government ordered him to close down or integrate, he chose to close down. Georgia Tech and the city of Atlanta both struggled together, but we have both worked out those struggles together. Our history is far from perfect, but together, Atlanta and Georgia Tech can push each other to become the best versions of ourselves and ultimately make Atlanta a better place. We've got some questions for you today. They'll center around how to make Atlanta the city that we all want it to be. They'll require creativity, dedication, and resilience. Georgia Tech students are more plugged into the Atlanta community than ever before. Our Serve, Learn, Sustain program housed in this building partners with community partners year-round. Student Government's Community Relations Committee just established a mutual aid fridge and food pantry here on campus. And just last year, our McCamish basketball pavilion served as the country's first ever fully student-run polling precinct, where 3,500 members of our Georgia Tech community voted. And they worked with our School of Industrial and Systems Engineering to make it the most efficient polling precinct in Fulton County. Imagine what we can do together. Today, you'll be asked a series of questions that I would challenge you as a candidate and a community partner. Frame your answers with cooperative service in mind. Know that whoever wins today, Georgia Tech is here to help. Thank you all.
Audrey Washington is here. Audrey Washington is a partner of ours with WSB TV, and she's going to bring up our next call. Please give her a hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Hello, thank you all for being here this morning. Thank you for having me. Next, we are going to bring up Mr. Sam Ellis. Excuse me? Oh, sorry, I apologize. Next, we're going to, sorry, Mr. Ellis. Next, we're going to bring up Mr. Nick Fernandez. He is with Communications for Better Atlanta. And Nick, you are ready? Please welcome him.
Thank you, Audrey. That was something. Sam, that was truly a great speech, and I appreciate it. It's hard to follow that because you brought a lot of passion, and I'm thankful as someone that works with the Metro Atlanta Chamber, focuses on workforce every day, to know we've got folks coming up, filling the pipeline with smart and educated and talented people, so thank you for that. My name is Nick Fernandez. I'm here with the Committee for a Better Atlanta as CBA. We are a nonpartisan coalition of 35 businesses and civic organizations from around the Atlanta area. We are led this year by our 2 co-chairs, Kyle Wade, the President and CEO of the Atlanta Community Food Bank, and Denise Quarles, the Head of External Affairs for the Southeast region for Siemens. And our mission is to evaluate candidates based on their preparedness for office and their understanding of our issues from our 2021 policy platform. So earlier this year, we published our 2021 policy platform that's centered around 5 key areas: public safety, economic development and recovery, affordable housing, transportation and sustainability, and city leadership. You can find that full policy platform and the white page on our website, cbaatl.org. And then along with our platform, we just recently released our results from our evaluations of candidates last Tuesday, September 21st. We were thankful to have 58 out of 70 candidates for mayor, city council president, and city council participate in our process. That process is a candidate questionnaire filled with 16 questions going deep into the policies of that policy platform. We're thankful to all the candidates here today that participated in the process. But it consisted of our questionnaire and then also a 30-person interview in person with each of the candidates. So cumulatively, amongst all the 58 candidates that participated in our process, we spent over 50 hours reading through questionnaires, interviewing candidates, and putting together a comprehensive evaluation of each candidate. So you can find those evaluations on our website. Once again, it's cbaatl.org. That is cbaatl.org. As you prepare to head to the ballot, fill out your absentee ballot, we encourage you to go to our website, read each candidate's profile, read each candidate's questionnaire on those issues, read the interview questions we ask the candidates, and educate yourself as you head to the polls. So Once again, I want to thank Lonnie, Kai, Shelley, Word on the Street for their partnership today. We're greatly appreciative of their support and their help today, and look forward to hearing from the candidates today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Sorry. I see. Next, we're going to bring up Sean Aurora Hinata.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Candida Building for Innovative Sustainable Design at Georgia Tech. My name is Sean Aurora. I'm the humble servant of the building. As our Student Government Association president said, Atlanta and Georgia Tech have gone through struggles together. We're also going to succeed together. The city of Atlanta has a lot of progressive environmental goals and laws on the books. All right? We have a 100% clean energy goal. This building produces 200% clean energy each year. 200%. It's 200% net positive. We've got sewer issues, right? No one wants to be a sewer man. When you go to the bathroom in this building, you're not part of the sewer problem. You just make compost. Because this building does not connect to the sewer. 40% of construction and demolition debris goes to the landfill. This building began its life having diverted more waste to the landfill than is sent to the landfill. Carbon. Carbon's an issue, right? Climate change. This building stores atmospheric carbon. Take a look. All this wood, what's it doing? Storing atmospheric carbon. All that material we didn't send to the landfill and we incorporated into this building. Storing carbon. Local labor. When you take material from a building, instead of sending it to the landfill, you gotta mill it. That's local labor. Local labor helped us salvage that material, mill this material, and put it in this building. 50% of everything in this building was sourced from within 1,000 kilometers of this building. It's local economy. So this building represents part of the solution. And we should be very proud that it's in Atlanta. This is the first fully certified living building in the state of Georgia, the largest of its type in the Southeast, and only the 28th in the world. So the entire world is paying attention to this building, and one of y'all might be the next mayor. Please don't forget this building. Please don't forget Georgia Tech. We are part of the solution with the city of Atlanta. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. I do want to shout out my good friend Erica Mitchell, who was District 5 School Board, Atlanta Public School Board, and then also the Jarvis DJ James. She's running at large seat 9 as a candidate. She's back here, please line her. And we are ready to welcome our candidates up. Ladies first, City Council President Felicia Moore.
So happy to have you.
Former Mayor Christine Reed, thank you for coming. City Councilman Andre Dickens and City Councilman Antonio Brown, thank you all for coming. We appreciate you so very much.
And while
Please give them a round of applause.
While we're getting seated and getting situated in those comfortable chairs, again, those of you watching us via live stream, thank you so very much. It's a closed forum, few faces here, and Shelley and I, we're not trying to go viral, but we're just saying if any of the candidates woke up on the wrong side of the grab bag, didn't have your coffee, and you just want to throw a chair, I mean, just look in that camera and do it. If any of the bells, if you guys want to, we don't want to go viral, but if any of you guys want to step up and feel like Denzel and say, what does Denzel say? You know that line?
I don't know, but let's get
Okay,
started.
see, well, see, you didn't know the line.
So, my sister's going to ask the first question. We're going to go across the board. Everyone has, I believe, first introductions, 2-minute introductions, 2 minutes on who, whatever you want to say, and then we'll start the questions, and we'll start going this way. Madam President.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Georgia Tech. Thank you, 95.5 and and our host for having us here today. The more opportunity that the citizens of Atlanta get to see the candidates, I think the more informed they will be. My name is Felicia Moore. I'm currently the president of the Atlanta City Council and our candidate for mayor of Atlanta. My platform speaks to what people want across the city. First and foremost, the safety of our city. No matter what your zip code or your income bracket, everyone wants to feel safe, and that is a major part of my platform. My second part is just as equally important, and that is the city services that we deliver. Those basic things that city government is supposed to do. And that is making sure that what you pay for, that you get. And believe me, there's a lot of work to do, and I would love to partner on many of those fronts with Georgia Tech and other colleges and universities in our city to make sure that we get our city services on track. And then finally, 3 tenets that I believe have been principles of my service as city government. First and foremost, transparency. Making sure you know how your money is being spent, that it's being spent wisely and not abused. And it has been abused. Also, transparency in terms of what we're doing on your behalf in city government. The second is ethics. I've served with integrity for the time that I've been a council member and as council president, and will take that integrity, which is very important, because we have to restore the public trust. I'm proud to be the author, sponsor, and even advocate of many pieces of legislation that have strengthened our ethics code and try to get this cloud of corruption that we have over City Hall away. And that speaks to accountability. Being accountable to the people we serve. Doing what we say we're gonna do, and if we change it, letting you know. If we get it wrong, being honest about that. That is what we need, transparency, ethics, and accountability, and I wanna be our next mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Andre Dickens.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andre Dickens, and I would love to be the next mayor of the city of Atlanta. I was born and raised right here in Atlanta in a community called Adamsville. And I became the first in my family to go to college when I stepped onto these grounds here at Georgia Tech to become a chemical engineer. Go Jackets to everybody. Sam, you're the man. I wish I could be SGA president, just like you. You're awesome. Thank you for that message. This is where I learned our motto of progress and service, our commitment to moving things forward and serving our city, serving our country, and serving this world to make things better. I believe that right now, this election is about the future and the soul of the city of Atlanta. Are we going to move forward in a way that makes sure that this city is run well, like a world-class organization, but that is run well for everyone? We have to have balanced economic growth, opportunities for everyone across our city. It's time out for a tale of two cities, where we have this prosperity and a whole lot of multi-generational poverty. I've done policies on affordable housing. I've created jobs and programs that help people get from poverty to prosperity. I've been here as a city council member committed to making sure that this city thrives and that so many people that are still in our city that are just trying to survive, that they have a pathway to opportunity. And that's why I want to run to be mayor. Right now is a critical time, and we have to do this together. So I draw circles, and I don't draw lines where we cut people off. We're going to bring people together, and I'm going to run an honest, ethical, and effective government. I'll make you proud, and we'll do it with integrity, and we'll do it together. I'm Andre.
Former Mayor Kasim Reed.
Good morning. I'm Kasim Reed, and I have the high honor of serving as the 59th mayor of the city of Atlanta. I'm running for mayor because I have seen a series of things and events that I haven't seen in my lifetime as mayor. As we sit here today, the city of Atlanta's police department is shrunk to below 1,400 officers at the exact same time that our city grew by more than 71,000 residents over the last year. We've had a 58% in violent crime and violence over the last 2 years. We have had 155 people be murdered in our city. And event after event happens, and yet there is no call to action to move our city in a new direction. I'm running for mayor because at the end of my term, I made the city of Atlanta the safest that it has been in 40 years. And because of the awful spike in crime and violence, we are in a position right now where 20% of the population of Atlanta would vote to leave. 73% of the community of Buckhead would vote to de-annex from the city of Atlanta. It's never happened in the history of the city. When I was mayor of Atlanta, people were voting to join Atlanta. Emory University, CDC, East Lake Country Club, all raised their hands and said they wanted to be a part of what we were doing. And together we built the best economy that we've had in 40 years. We moved new construction permits from $400 million to $5 billion. We grew the motion picture sector in Georgia from $400 million to $5 billion. We took record high unemployment and lowered it. We never raised your property taxes. We never raised your water rates. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you better today? Is Atlanta better today than it was 4 years ago when I was fortunate enough to lead it?
Thank you.
Councilman Antonio Brown.
Thank you, Shelley. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today, and thank you so much to Georgia Tech and all of the partners. My name is Antonio Brown. Like many Atlantans, I grew up in poverty most of my life, with my parents in and out of prison. I dropped out of high school at the age of 15 to sack groceries to help support my siblings. You know, I was able to overcome the adversity in my life by being able to utilize my imagination to see something greater for myself. And now I'm an Atlanta City Council person, you know, and a lot of it I owe to Georgia Tech students who rallied behind my campaign for city council when most didn't believe I could fill this job because I didn't come from a background like some of the other candidates. But the students rose with me and I was elected. Since being on council, I passed over 60 pieces of legislation to address some of the city's most complex problems, some of which was a community loan fund for credit disadvantaged small businesses that were struggling to obtain traditional financing, where they could borrow money. In most cases, they were being denied. I also authored legislation to study the creation of the Department of Public Safety and Wellness, to call for a 24-hour non-emergency response unit to address quality of life issues, like our sheltered population, addressing mental health and substance abuse. Most recently, I passed legislation that would allow Georgia State University to study a $250 million workforce development fund that has never been done before in this country. It would be a model for the rest of the nation. I'm running for mayor to create a socioeconomic shift in the economic class system in Atlanta, where we move folks living in poverty to the working middle class. And together we can create this inclusive and thriving ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we're going to give you an opportunity to know the candidates. And our first question has nothing to do with policy, starting with Felicia Moore. Who is the most influential person in your life and why?
Well, I will pick my late father, Joseph W. Moore. Many of the principles I have, my desire to serve, all stem from my life experiences. I was a daddy's girl, being under him and watching him in the community, in our family, so he would be the most influential.
Same question for you, Cassandra.
I would say my mom, Sylvia Reed. My mother was the architect of my life. She was that person who was a source of constant belief and inspiration. She was still with me. And then, of course, my dad was my builder. But I would say my mom, Sylvia Reed. She believed in me every day. There was no dream that was too big, no task too great for her boys. And her love and affection guides me every day.
Antonio Brown.
I would say my mother, Sherry Brown. I carry her legacy, her last name. But she inspired me so much in my life. When I was 12, she was sentenced to 5 years in prison. And you know, when she came out, it was so difficult for her to survive, to sustain, and she became a victim of recidivism. But since then, she's just taught me just that I could be whatever I want to be, no matter what I go through in my life, and that there's always something greater on the other side. So I would say she is my inspiration.
Andre Dickens answering our last question, the most influential person in your life.
Yeah, my mom as well, Sylvia Dickens. My mom was a single mother, raising myself and my sister in Southwest Atlanta, paving the way for me. She didn't go to college. She worked a union job for 28 straight years, and she had this tough discipline, but commitment to me going to Sunday school, going to church. After school, I had to do my homework first, and then set it on the kitchen table before I could go out and play. She had rules and regulations, times I had to be places, but she always had me involved in sports, in karate, in after-school program, and her dream was for me to go to college. And she paved the way for me to be able to do that. And I speak to her every single day still.
Mama's way.
Thank you, guys. I do want to take a moment here, a little host-moderator privilege, and tell you that my mom is here in the back of the room.
Mrs. Winter, the lovely, hello, Mrs. Winter. Host privilege, Shelley, that's what we do.
So I'm actually surprised that none of you said Shelley Winter.
We got for years on radio, but anyway, moving on.
So back to politics. The cost of living is skyrocketing in Atlanta. And is this a welcome trend, or does it need to be addressed? Let's start with you, Councilman Brown.
I think that it's definitely an issue. I think that the cost of living is skyrocketing in a lot of major cities across the United States. And, you know, I think especially for Atlanta, being this great city that so many people flock to for opportunity, and to be able to follow their dreams, I think it needs to be a more inclusive city where, you know, the opportunities that are presented can help create a level playing field for our residents to thrive and prosper. I believe the economic opportunities must be in line with the inflation that's occurring in our city, and that our workforce has to be a reflection of what it takes to actually survive and sustain in this city. I think a lot of folks in the city are tired. They're working tireless jobs, and they're not being paid anything. And I think we've got to correct that to ensure that we're creating an inclusive ecosystem where no Atlantan is left behind.
Councilman Dickens.
Yeah, absolutely. The cost, since 2010, the cost of housing has increased by 50% in the city of Atlanta. But working folks' incomes have only increased by 10% in the city of Atlanta. So at some point, people became cost burdened because of that difference in the cost of housing and the cost of, and the income rise that's been stagnant for a lot of our working folks. Now, there's a lot of people that are doctors, lawyers, engineers that are making a whole lot of money, but a lot of people that keep our city going have only increased their salaries by 10%. So many folks spend more than 50% of their income on housing. Then the next thing is transportation. And then in Georgia, we're the most cost-burdened utility of any other state. So our utilities cost us more than anybody else. So what I'm expressing is that we have a cost of living challenge that's costing too many people the opportunity to be able to live in the city of Atlanta. So we have displacement. So what we have to have is development, because we want to thrive and grow the city of Atlanta. People are coming here, businesses are being attracted here, and again, we want to do it without displacing people. So we have to build an ecosystem, things like job creation, and to be able to have affordable housing. And I'm sure we're going to get into those policy details around affordable housing, around how to grow jobs, and to make sure that people are inclusive in the city of Atlanta. But yes, it costs us high.
Okay, so going forward, we're going to ask the question, and unstated in the question is a policy prescription to the question. So we know, it's a problem, but if you guys consider that way, we don't have to come back to it later on. So, yeah, if you can, and we're going to go back to you, just policy real quick, and then we're going to City Council President Moore, and then Forum Mayor Reed, and then that with Antonio, but quickly, your policy prescription for the.
Yeah, there are two things that specifically go to this. One is we're gonna build or preserve 20,000 units of affordable housing in 8 years. And the second thing is we're gonna make sure that we create an Atlanta Department of Labor that works with the business community, unions, and everyone to be able to make sure folks get quality jobs in the city of Atlanta. Just like the program I started at 10th grade that trains people to go from poverty to prosperity. We train people on certifications, and in 4 months, they're able to make $60,000, $70,000. So as the cost of living rises, we want to make sure that people have middle wage or high incomes to be able to thrive in this city. It's a tale of two cities. There's so much untapped talent in the south side of town, the southeast, southwest, all around Atlanta. These individuals need to be able to have access to these great jobs. And so that's why I train people. I train hundreds of people for free. And when I'm there, we'll grow those programs at the Atlanta Department of Labor.
City Council President Moore.
Yes, so the question is about the cost of living. Yes, it is up, and yes, it needs to be addressed. However, we understand that the cost of living is certainly tied not only to our state, but our national economy. To say that, what can we do as the city? One of the things I want to make sure that we do is get our workforce development agency, which has not worked for many administrations, up and running. Where we can get people trained and get them in quality jobs so that they can keep up with the cost of living. Partnering with our unions who have wonderful apprenticeship programs to help people get into sustainable jobs. A part of my platform is definitely making sure that we lift up the lives of our children in the city of Atlanta, so we're also building on the future. And to do that, we've got to strengthen the families, and particularly help those single mothers out there that are struggling to make ends meet. And so my policy prescription will be to really lean very heavily into getting a workforce development agency that can help our residents become able to live and meet the affordable housing needs, being able to afford it, as well as to make sure that they're able to keep up with the cost of living in our city.
Former Mayor Reed.
Well, I think the first thing you can do is to pay people more. Mayor of Atlanta's got a workforce of $8,500 to $9,000. Under my leadership, we raised the salary for individuals who work for us to $15 an hour. I think the mayor should lead the effort regionally to expand that to government, and you can literally move tens of thousands of people to $15 an hour wage, and I believe most governments should be exemplars and an example. The second issue folks have is the cost of housing. For most folks, our home is the largest building we have. The city of Atlanta owns at least 877 acres in fee simple. We should be taking that property and putting it in the hands of skilled, for-profit and not-for-profit developers to get vertical construction going right away. Vertical construction at a guaranteed price point of 60% of median or less. So that way we can make sure that people who've been here the entire time get to stay in the city of Atlanta. The other thing that we need is an anti-displacement office located in the mayor to help folks. The number of senior citizens who are called out of the blue, where folks try to buy their homes for pennies on the dollar, or where they try to buy them for tax liens, they don't have an advocate. They don't have anybody to call and talk to these issues. The city needs to be the partner for those individuals. The other thing that we need to do is to aggressively advocate that all governments ban the body so that folks who are coming out of the penal system can go and apply for good jobs and get them without having their record used against them. We all need to remember, you can fit Manhattan, San Francisco, and Boston inside of Atlanta's 131.5 acres. This is simply a matter of will. And my administration is going to have the will to take it on.
Councilman Brown.
Sure. As council member, I passed legislation unanimously on council that called for the Department of Transportation as well as watershed management and some of the other agencies within the city of Atlanta to bring our jobs in-house. For instance, we're outsourcing millions of dollars to big corporations to handle the city's infrastructure. Part of the reason why I passed this legislation is because currently Georgia State University is studying the $250 million workforce development bond that's going to create living wage jobs, paying a minimum of $20 an hour, plus health insurance. And while they're in these jobs, they're going to learn about infrastructure, technology, transportation, and they're going to be fixing the city's crumbling infrastructure at the same time. In addition to that, we've got to lift up our small businesses. They are the heart of our economy. They hire everyday people. We need to start funding startup small businesses in Atlanta, and we need to start expanding existing small businesses in Atlanta to ensure that we're truly creating an inclusive ecosystem for all of our Atlantans.
It's the word on the street, Mayoral Forum. Quick question before I ask you about Buckhead. Starting with Andre Dickens, if you could meet any president, well, which president do you admire the most and why? Just real quick, and then we'll get to our Buckhead question.
President Barack Obama.
Okay, how about you, Antonio Brown?
Well, as a child, I used to write to President Bill Clinton, so he's someone I've kind of always admired.
Did he write you back?
He did.
Oh, wow.
So really?
You sure it wasn't a family member?
Was it Santa Claus from
And it
North
had his
Pole?
actual signature on
Oh,
it.
it did?
Not like a printed signature,
Wow.
it's handwritten.
That's cool.
Okay, how about you, Commissioner?
Well, I would say President Barack Obama, I did meet him as senator, but not in his presidential role. So I'd like to have a little coffee with him.
Okay, Senator?
President Obama.
Okay, so it's no stranger to anybody in this room, it's not a strange thing that Buckhead is considering seceding from the Atlantic Union. Let's pretend the people in here are pro-Buckhead City. Tell us what you would say to these people, starting with Mayor Cassini Reed. Pro-Buckhead City, this room.
What I would say is that as the mayor, I understand your frustration. You haven't been communicated with. You've seen the nature of your community change radically, and no one has come to your side to stop the problem. You've seen your police force go down citywide to 1,340 officers. And if you give me 1 year, I will show you that the current condition was a moment in time and not a permanent change. I'm going to hire 750 police officers right away. I've done it before. And you will feel a difference in crime and violence in Atlanta in 180 days. We will recruit a first-class chief, a first-rate command staff, and we will also train our police officers again in a post-George Floyd manner, meaning we will work to de-escalate. But most importantly, I will make you as safe as you were during the previous 8 years I served as mayor. And when I left office after my work, after hiring 900 police officers, your city, your community was the safest that it has been in 40 years. Give us an opportunity to prove that this is a tough moment, not a permanent change. Because Atlanta is better when our city is one Atlanta.
Andre Dickens, make-believe, pro-Buckhead City. What do you say to them?
I say that I know you want to feel safe, and I know you want to feel heard. And so far, for the last year, you haven't felt safe, and you haven't felt that anybody, the current mayor, or anybody is listening to you as you cry out that you want to feel safe and want to feel heard. You want to feel as though your mayor is paying attention to you. And you also have talked about that you want to have the services delivered to you that you pay for, that your tax dollars pay for. And I can tell you that I will run this city like a world-class organization. That we will make sure that you're safe, that we will make sure we hire 250 officers in the first year, and make sure those officers are trained, fully trained, and that these officers are going to be brought in from other jurisdictions to rapidly hire them. But we're also going to have officers come through our cadet academy and training. And we're going to train them in a 21st century policing model to make sure that these officers have a balanced approach to crime, safety, and justice. We're going to be smart on crime. My plan has been vetted by former police chiefs. And so we're going to make sure that in the second year we get up to 400 officers. And all those officers will also be trained. And we're going to get out of our cars, and those officers are going to walk the beat, We're gonna do community policing, where they get to know all the restaurant owners, the business owners, the convenience stores. They're gonna be out and about. You will see me very present at your town hall meeting. I will call town hall meetings of my own. I'll be very present at the Buckhead Council of Neighbors, the Buckhead Hotel Council, the Buckhead Coalition, as I am right now as your at-large city councilman. We will optimize our systems to make sure that your garbage is picked up on time, that these potholes are filled, but we will run this city well. But we'll also make sure that we know that it's not just Buckhead that's making these same things. I know that you guys are asking for this, but all across our city, we want to make sure it's run
They're
well.
chanting, Buckhead City, sorry to cut you off, Buckhead City. Antonio Brown, they're chanting, Buckhead City, calm them down.
No, I'm just funny. I'm joking. That was a joke.
Mark that back on WSB.
We need that, we need that.
No, I'm joking. I had to make light of this just a little bit. No, I mean, I think what Buckhead wants, what Buckhead wants, what you guys want, is no different than what folks in Bankhead want. We all want the same thing. We want to feel safe in our communities. We want our roads fixed. We want our businesses supported. And I believe we have to move away from this idea of separation as a solution to our issues. I think the city of Atlanta is a civil rights hub. We've experienced so much in this country and in this city, and there's no reason why we should be at odds. And if you feel like you're not being heard, we're here to listen. And it's unfortunate that this city has failed to listen for as long as it has, that has resulted in this movement even transpiring. But I'm here, and I'm here to listen, I'm here to hear your concerns and ensure that they're being addressed. But Buckhead is not the only city, the only community that's been unheard in this city. There are several communities that have been left behind, that don't have resources and don't have opportunities that we need to be speaking about also.
Oh, they're throwing stuff now, Buckhead City, Buckhead
Yes,
City. They're throwing stuff out. Police Moore.
Well, hello Atlanta, and I want to be the mayor that helps to unify our city. I hear you, and I've heard the same thing echoed across this great city. You want to feel safe, and I have a 5-point plan to work on that, not only for immediate, but also in the long term. The other thing I hear is that you're paying a lot for the services that you're not getting. That's a part of my platform as well. I intimately know all of these employees that do an incredible job for our city under very hard circumstances. And what we need is a mayor who's willing to get in the weeds and fix those so that you and all of our residents of Atlanta can get the city services that they deserve. And I hear you about corruption that's over City Hall and your lack of trust in government. And I'm here to restore trust in government because I have a career of integrity working for the citizens of Atlanta. What you want, everyone wants. And with my administration, you will get that. And what you believe you can get and achieve by separating from us is a false hope. Because as our whole body is together, we're stronger than if we're apart. So I want you to engage with me as your next mayor. Let's have those deep, dark conversations, make sure that we can work together on that solution, and make sure that we know that Atlanta is always better together. And I want to be the mayor to help keep us unified and stronger than we are right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. So now we're going to go to a little fun. I sent an email. So we don't, candidates have no idea what the questions are, but I did send an email last night letting them know that part of what we're trying to do here, I know for me as a voter, I know people's policies, I can read them online, but I want to know who you are as a person. The famous line with W. Bush, who's this guy want to have a beer with him. So that's the kind of voter, that's the kind of thing voters like. So we want to ask you guys a question. Going across the room, what is your favorite song, and can you sing a couple bars? It's okay if you can't sing. It's okay. None of us can sing. But we just want to know your favorite song, and just a couple bars. So if you want to, I'll start ladies first.
I like a lot of songs, but the one that came to mind is Living my life like the soul, living my life like the soul.
Councilman Dickens.
That's so many songs going across my head.
You can stand, if you guys want to stand up and
Oh,
down,
no.
do it. I don't know what you want to do.
I'm gonna go to rap because I can't sing.
Let's hear it.
You know, you got me and you, your mama and your cousin. Okay, we're
Mary,
Lou Rawls, you'll never find.
Oh, give us mine, come on.
You'll never find. As long as you live, someone who cares about you, tender like I do.
Wow, I want to get married, I want to get married, I want to get married.
we got a lot of guys going to be talking about you all week now. We're all excited now. With Councilman.
I would say one of my favorite songs of last year was A Bigger Picture by Little Baby. We did some work together, and you know, it's bigger than black and white. You know, it's a problem with the whole, you know, system that's happening right now. And you know, so this song just goes on about the conditions of what we're facing. So.
Not what we were looking
Come
for.
on,
It's quite
let's
all
go. You sing?
It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole system of life. You know, so
I don't even know how to move to that, okay, thank you for
Thank
that.
you all for playing. So, before we started, we appreciate that very much. We really do, because that was phenomenal. That lets people know that, you know, our potential voters want to somebody, a real person, so we appreciate that. We started with Governor Kemp, words from my good friend, Governor Brian Kemp. Want to ask, if one of you is elected mayor, one of you probably will be elected mayor, what kind of relationship would you foster with our governor? And we'll start with Andre. Councilman Dickens, I apologize.
Yeah, no problem. No, I think it was great that Governor Kemp decided to speak today and start us off. It's good to have a fantastic relationship between the city and the state. There has to be a great relationship between the mayor of the city of Atlanta and the governor, especially on things that we agree upon. We agree upon the need for jobs, apprenticeships, this economy to thrive. We also agree on how we ought to do public safety to make sure we get this crime way down and that it doesn't become the new norm. Working with the state in so many ways will help us advance our cause. Now, when we disagree, we don't have to disagree at each other as people. We disagree on the principle, disagree on the policy, so that we can still maintain a relationship. And so with me, I'll make sure that where we agree, we'll work hard, doubly hard, triply hard to get those things done for the citizens of Atlanta and in this region. But where we may disagree on voters' rights, on things related to COVID and the science around it, then we'll have to try to come to an agreement by conversation. And when we disagree, we'll say, hey, today is a day that I'm going to make a difference for my community in a different way than you would do so. And so then we still preserve this relationship to where the governor and the mayor can still work together hand in hand. And I've had to have conversations across the aisle. I've had to go over to the State House and meet with people and talk about issues related to our airport, when there was an airport takeover conversation. And so I want to make sure that even as mayor, that I double down on those things, particularly those areas of focus that the citizens of Atlanta care about, and the governor can help us tremendously working with the state.
Mary.
Well, Governor Nathan Deal was a Rockford Republican from Hall County, conservative, and I was a progressive Barack Obama Democrat, advocating for President Obama, campaigning for him across the country when he ran. And we had a relationship that was viewed by the economists as one of the best in America between the governor and the mayor. And so here's what you have to understand. A mayor and a governor may disagree on 80% of policies. But when they roll in the same direction on the 20% they do agree on, which is generally around job creation, transportation opportunities, and investment in the city and the state, you can get enormous things done. And that's why Governor Hill and I were able to bring 17 U.S. and regional headquarters to the city of Atlanta, not the suburbs, into the city. That's why we worked shoulder to shoulder with Senator Isaacson to secure 101 approvals to deepen the Port of Savannah and get it funded. Because while folks may not realize it, thousands of jobs in Atlanta and the metro region are driven by the Port of Savannah.